Jane Toppan, born Honora Kelly. Birth: March 31, 1854. Boston, Massachusetts, USA. Jane Toppan was born into a troubled family. Orphaned at an early age, she was taken in by the Toppan family, where she adopted the name Jane Toppan. Her early life was marked by instability, and she faced challenges as an orphan. Beatings, true crime aficionados. Jane Toppan's troubled childhood and the early loss of her biological family might have contributed to her mental instability. As she grew older, signs of psychological issues became evident. Her career as a nurse, where she was responsible for the care of vulnerable individuals, provided her with opportunities to act on her dark impulses. Toppan's apparent pleasure in witnessing the suffering of her victims suggests deep-seated psychological issues, possibly a form of sadism. Jane Toppan's criminal activities primarily involved poisoning her patients. As a nurse, she administered lethal doses of medication to those under her care. Her choice of victims ranged from the elderly to infants. Toppan's actions were not solely driven by a desire for financial gain, but seemed to be motivated by a twisted pleasure in causing suffering and death. Toppan's crimes went undetected for years until her colleague, Nurse Sarah Connors, became suspicious of the high mortality rate around Toppan's patients. Connors reported her concerns, leading to an investigation. In 1902, Jane Toppan stood trial for the murder of at least 31 people, although she claimed to have killed many more. Her trial gained significant media attention due to the shocking nature of her crimes. In a surprising turn of events, Jane Toppan was found not guilty by reason of insanity. She was committed to the Taunton Insane Hospital in Massachusetts, where she spent the rest of her life in confinement. Jane Toppan, also known as Jolly Jane, was a notorious American serial killer who operated in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. While her crimes did not necessarily stun the nation in the way some modern cases might, her story remains a chilling chapter in the history of criminal pathology. Born Honora Kelly on March 31, 1854 in Boston, Massachusetts, Jane Toppan faced a troubled childhood. Orphaned at an early age, she was taken in by the Toppan family, where she adopted the name Jane Toppan. As she grew older, Toppan exhibited signs of mental instability, and her behavior became increasingly erratic. Jane Toppan trained as a nurse and began her career in healthcare. However, her sinister inclinations soon became apparent. She started administering lethal doses of medication to patients under her care, an act she later described as giving them a... Her choice of victims was indiscriminate, ranging from the elderly to infants. One of the most shocking aspects of Jane Toppan's crimes was her apparent pleasure in witnessing the suffering of her victims. She would alter dosages to keep patients in a state of prolonged agony before administering a fatal dose. Her actions went undetected for years, as the deaths were often attributed to natural causes. Toppan's killing spree finally came to an end in 1901 when her close friend and colleague, Nurse Sarah Connors, became suspicious of the high mortality rate surrounding Toppan's patients. Connors alerted the authorities, leading to an investigation that unveiled the extent of Toppan's crimes. In 1902, Jane Toppan stood trial for the murder of at least 31 people, though she claimed to have killed many more. Her trial gained significant media attention, as the public was captivated by the idea of a nurse-turned-serial killer. Toppan's calm demeanor during the proceedings added to the shock and horror surrounding her case. In a shocking turn of events, Toppan was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was committed to the Taunton Insane Hospital in Massachusetts. She spent the remainder of her life in confinement until her death on August 17, 1938. While Jane Toppan's case might not have stunned the nation in the way that more recent cases have, it did contribute to the public's growing awareness of the presence of female serial killers and the potential dangers within the healthcare system. Her story serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind seemingly caring and compassionate facade. Thank you for joining us on this unsettling journey into the life of Jane Toppan. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment to stay connected with our ongoing exploration of true crime mysteries. Your support fuels our commitment to shedding light on the darkest corners of criminal history. Stay tuned for more captivating narratives, and until next time, stay curious and stay safe.